My next guest is probably the publishing phenomenon of the decade. You probably know that his novel, Love Story, which most of you seem to have read by now, according to the figures, has been #1 bestseller for 34 weeks.
That's a bestseller's bestseller.
That is a bestseller, yes. The movie version has just come out, and it seems to be coining money, as they say in the trade. And aside from his book, he's written several other films. He runs 8 miles every day, and he is passing our theater right now. We're going to try to get him to come in here. Will you welcome, please, although he also still teaches at Yale, Erich Segal. You realize... Hello, Erich. You realize my introduction was as long as your book? It was practically,
that's right. I know.
Or a chapter anyway.
My dream is to accumulate enough publications and credits so that I can fill a 90-minute hour with 89 minutes of somebody's introduction and just a hello.
And then you come out at the end.
I'm working on it.
And backstage you could finish a novel, probably.
Right.
The speed you work, it's incredible. I mean, the amount of things you do.
Don't sleep.
You're always called a dynamo, and you say you don't sleep, and I would like to know now, in front of everybody, exactly what you mean by not sleeping. Because everybody sleeps.
No, but for example, the night before I teach at Yale, I mean, the best time to prepare a lecture is from about 2 in the morning till 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
And then then I do sleep a little bit, say from 6 to 8.
You mean with 2 hours sleep you can awaken refreshed?
Not refreshed. I mean, it takes a lot of coffee to get you up.
He faints a lot.
You have something more than coffee, too. What you put in it? Anytime you wake up that time of morning and can write about love, that means you were thinking about it before you went to bed.
That I do in the afternoon. But...
Shut up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But seriously now, in a week, where most people get, 7 times 8? You can do it in your head. So, get about that much, 56 hours of sleep, let's say, most people should average.
Well, I would say I average about 4 hours a night. It comes out to be. I mean, once every week.
Why can't I do that?
Don't you?
No, I can't. No,
at your age, you'll never be able to do it.
At my age,
he's
I can't.
insulting.
See, when you get your age, you have to sleep 8 hours.
Is that what it is?
You have to sleep. You can't sleep. If you sleep 4 hours, something will be wrong when you gotten up.
But we're the same age, so I hope
You are?
I reveal nothing.
Both of you
I
saw
looked
New
you up
York.
on Who's Who, and we're the same age.
Are we the same age?
Yes, I looked you up.
Am I in Who's Who?
Yeah.
How old
I
are you?
wherever
notice
I
you're
looked
not
at- or the
discussing
telephone book
numbers.
or
whatever.
What age are you?
Well, I mean, I'll say it if you'll say it.
Don't tell my age, but tell yours.
Okay. I will not tell Mr. Cavett's age, but my age is 33.
Oh, my God.
Oh.
33 and a
yeah.
third, like the record, you know, I
You're
spin.
old.
You're spinning all the time.
I didn't know about 33. I'm 19.
Do you, speaking of age...
Yes, sir.
What was it? Is there any chance you'll retire? You've done just about most of what everybody does in a career now. You have a film, you have a big successful film. You've got the book, it's on the bestsellers. By the way, is there going to be a sequel to Love Story? I know you've been
no,
asked,
I hope
but
not.
is there any
I
chance?
hope not. I hope nobody tries to write a sequel to Love Story.
The publisher must be pleading with you to do one.
Yeah, well, no, they have, Harper and Row are very nice about it. They know that Love Story was, and I guess still is, but it can't, you know, let it lie.
Yeah?
Enough.
I've had that.
Yeah, but people ask about, you know, write a story about what happens to Oliver afterwards. I want to do other things. I have done other things, written lots of things since, writing a serious book, teaching my class. I taught a whole term at Yale, since the last time I was on the show, in fact.
You taught a whole term.
Yeah.
Is there any kind of snobism that you run into in the campus world because of the fact that you have a broad success and there is the attitude that anything that appeals to the masses can't be any good, this sort of snobbish attitude, therefore, you shouldn't be teaching at a university?
It's very interesting. The only kind of snob reaction to the success of Love Story I've encountered has been sort of the middle highbrows. Do you know what I mean? In other words, professors, sterling professors at Yale write me a letter and say, gee, that's a beautiful novel. Love Story is beautiful, well written, etc. Get lots of letters from professors, Harvard, Yale, wherever, you know. And of course, the students like Love Story. But there's a whole milieu of sort of wise guy type pseudo, I would say, intellectual critics that say, oh, the book can't be any good, it made money. You know, so I encounter that, but I brush it off, and there's none of that at Yale. Yes. At Yale, this kind of we have 2 bestsellers at Yale now.
That's
Charlie
right,
Reich.
and Mr. Reich.
Charlie Reich is #1 in nonfiction with The Greening of America, and Love Story is #1 in fiction.
That's incredible, 2 at the same university. Do you realize if you could get Jacqueline Suzanne on the faculty, you'd have 3 bestsellers right there?
On what list would we put her, though?
Do you love your book?
Yes, frankly, I mean, I still read Love Story now and then. There are parts of it that I still read and enjoy. Of course, I know what happens at the end, but I still enjoy it.
Do you love your book, you said?
Yes, well, I really wanted to know. You know, authors so often come on television shows and talk about their work. And I've known a few who really weren't that proud of what they had done, but they wanted it to make money and they wanted to plug it.
Yeah.
So I've always wanted to know, do they really like what they've written?
I honestly
It's
do.
a legitimate question.
You won't tell me backstage.
I don't
you
have good taste, perhaps, but I do like it.
Ah, you made an excuse.
Shut up, let
you
me
asked
say
me whether
something.
I
I've been
was-
trying to get in a
Let the
long
dance.
time. Y'all just keeping me out.
Yes,
Let the
Richard hasn't had a
19-year-old
chance
Yeah,
to
let me
speak.
say something. My Lord. Y'all just taking over the whole show. Let me speak. Well, I don't believe that a person can write about love. I don't believe that nobody can really, this is my belief. I don't believe that love is something that you just have to do it as you feel it. And I don't believe you can really write about it. I've always believed that from a kid. My mother disagreed with me. But I don't believe that you can write about it because everybody feels a different way about it. And you can't say that this person is not right or that person's not right. You do it the way that you feel. And just because you feel they're
But
supposed
that's
to
what a person
shut
does.
up,
They-
shut
no,
up.
I will not.
Shut
Listen,
up.
you're talking
Ah,
to a
she
Puerto
won't shut
Rican
up.
girl,
But then
and you're not going to get away with
you're
this.
talking to a Georgia peach.
Just a minute.
You're talking to a Georgia
Let's talk about
peach.
something, Eric.
Tell her she's talking
Is
to
there
a Georgia
anything good in
peach.
today's...
She's Puerto Rican. All she has to do is bring
Wait.
the tacos and the peaches are ready.
I'm simply saying that a person can write about love as he feels about it. Why
That's what
does
I
it have to
said.
be one view?
That's what I said. That's what I said. I said I don't
No,
think that
it's
one
not what
person
you
can
said at
write.
all.
That's not
I
what
said I
you
don't think
said.
that a person can write about it.
Oh,
But because each person feels it different.
ah.
Feels it different. The way I feel it, now I feel it the way I feel it. I don't believe nobody else feel it nowhere like I feel it. I got my own way. Sometimes I sit down and I'll be watching, watching.
Yeah.
And watching. And my big toe just shoot up in my boots. But I think that you do. I think y'all misunderstood my boot and my toe.
I think
Wait
you
a
need
minute,
your
I have
own
a-
talk show.
I do need it.
He has it already.
It's yes. Oh, now we can't even be seen, let alone heard. Do you have the feeling, Eric, we're not alone in this room? Wait a minute. We were talking about, you were talking about Mr. Reich, or Reich,
Reich,
he says
Reich,
Reich, doesn't he?
Reich.
Now, he's a celebrity
Reich,
in a
as it
sense,
were, yeah.
the fourth Reich, because of his book, and you're a celebrity because of yours, but he doesn't go anywhere, I read. He doesn't like all the attendant trappings of celebrity.
That's
but
really true.
you can enjoy a literary
That's
tea
really
or an
true.
opening night, or what's the difference
The other
between
day, when the New York Times came to photograph Charlie Reich at Yale, he saw them coming in the Stiles. We're both in Ezra Stiles College at Yale, too.
Have we
was
mentioned that he
just-
wrote The Greening of America? I
Yeah.
guess we have, okay.
A very interesting book, fascinating. And when Charlie Reich, they wanted to photograph him talking to students, which is all he talks to.
Yeah.
You know, students, because he's really involved with them. He saw them coming. He snuck out the back door through the kitchen. He just didn't want the publicity attendant on being a bestseller. And I frankly confess that I enjoy it.
I heard that
like
the one article about him said that at a time a professor passed him coming the other way and gave him a thumbs down.
I know which
signal that
professor it
he's not-
was, yeah, but that's
Yeah?
that's okay because
Well,
Charlie,
sure, you can-
Charlie was in The Greening of America was very optimistic as far as what the younger generation has to offer
Mm-hmm.
in terms of its values, and for that matter, so am I, and in a fictional sense. And bravo for Charlie, and bravo for the Yale professor who put his thumbs down, because he wasn't thumbs down for Charlie Reich
And
as a
bravo
man.
for Little Richard.
Absolutely, sure.
Shut up. Now, sorry. I'm sorry, I don't usually steal people's material like that. I don't know how I happen to do that. We must take a break here. To make your holiday parties really bubble, here's a happy hint on behalf of your local Canada Dry Box.